Craving chaos, how junk food and emotions are rewiring your brain. Cravings. They seem harmless on the surface, a little chocolate here, a scoop of ice cream there, but when you look deeper, they often tell a much bigger story about what's happening in the body and mind. In many cases, cravings for junk food and sugary snacks are not driven by hunger at all, they're driven by stress. Modern research shows a strong link between psychological stress and increased consumption of high-sugar foods. When people feel overwhelmed, anxious, or emotionally drained, they are significantly more likely to turn to sweet, highly processed foods for comfort. This is what we call emotional eating, and it has quietly become one of the major contributors to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic illnesses worldwide. But why sugar? Because sugar doesn't just taste good, it interacts with the brain in powerful ways. When you consume sugar, it activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, the same feel-good chemical involved in motivation and pleasure. Over time, frequent sugar intake can actually change how this system functions, increasing impulsivity, reinforcing cravings, and altering emotional responses. Some studies even show that repeated sugar consumption can lead to changes in dopamine receptors and create patterns of behavior that resemble dependency, including cravings, tolerance, and withdrawal-like symptoms. This is where the cycle begins. Stress right-pointing arrow, craving right-pointing arrow, sugar right-pointing arrow, temporary relief right-pointing arrow, crash right-pointing arrow, more cravings. And the relief is short-lived. Highly processed sugary foods cause rapid spikes in blood glucose, followed by sharp drops. These crashes can lead to fatigue, irritability, and even increased anxiety, which then feeds right back into emotional eating. Over time, this rollercoaster effect places strain on the body's metabolic system and contributes to insulin resistance and weight gain. There is also a deeper neurological connection. Research indicates that stress and addiction pathways in the brain overlap, meaning that when you're under pressure, your brain is biologically more vulnerable to seeking out highly rewarding substances like sugar. This is why during stressful periods, people don't crave chicken and vegetables, they crave quick, high-reward foods. It's important, however, to stay grounded in the science. While many people describe sugar as addictive, some scientific reviews caution that sugar does not meet all the strict clinical criteria of a drug addiction in humans. The more accurate picture is that it's the combination of sugar, fat, salt, and highly processed foods, along with emotional triggers, that creates these powerful, habit-forming behaviors. So it's not just the sugar, it's the environment, the stress, and the patterns. The good news: these patterns can be changed. When you reduce sugar intake and stabilize your blood sugar, especially through a low-carb or ketogenic approach, you remove the constant spikes and crashes. Over time, the brain begins to reset, energy levels stabilize, and those intense cravings start to fade. But the real shift happens when awareness comes in. Before reaching for that snack, ask, am I physically hungry or emotionally triggered? What am I feeling right now? Is this food solving the problem or just masking it? Simple lifestyle strategies can make a big difference. Prioritize whole, nutrient-dense foods. Eat enough healthy fats and protein to stay satisfied. Stay hydrated. Manage stress through movement, sunlight, and connection. Remove high-sugar, trigger foods from your immediate environment. Breaking free from cravings isn't about willpower alone, it's about understanding the biology, the psychology, and the habits behind them. Because once you understand that, you stop fighting yourself, and you start taking back control. Disclaimer: this article is intended for general informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not medical advice, and it should not be used as a substitute for professional diagnosis or treatment. Always seek the guidance of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, exercise routine, or medication. Stay updated on the latest news, connect, interact, and more on KetoNet, available on the Apple Store and Google Play.